Gentlemen, in this next segment, we would like you to tell us a little bit more regarding what you're doing professionally as well as personally, which is helping you create an edge. So tell us about what you're doing professionally and personally as well to stand out from the crowd.
Well, from my perspective, in my world, currently, I'm actually running a software business. And the software business is BPM Software Solutions. I have clients that actually use my business, my cloud services to integrate their ERP systems and manage their financial reporting and business reporting from a sales perspective, from a supply chain perspective. So all elements of the business chain can be kind of monitored and integrated through this business management cloud system. So with that is really bridging over to the leadership coaching that I do that is pro bono right now with individuals in my community that I built on LinkedIn, which is the self-empowerment community. Mm-hmm. And that really helps me get close and connected in simple ways. It's just basically building simple relationships, and we create meetings, and we have weekly meetings and weekly calls where one-on-one we get to share our experiences. And I love to listen and love to give some of my feedback on how I see things to help folks really get a different perspective. And so I ask certain questions and we kind of go through that process, but it's more like, it's not like, I'm telling you what to do. It's more like we're having a real friendly conversation. Similar
exactly.
To the call. And everything just emerges out of that. And so with that process, what I want to do is take all of the connection that I have with the business consulting that I'm doing and the business that I'm running with my cloud system because I'm actually, my clients are currently executives. And so from that perspective, executives really want leadership coaching downstream so that everyone becomes a leader in the organization.
Spot on.
With that data management capability integration, also bringing in the relationship building capability and building better culture can happen through that process, through a measurable process, and where you can put in practices that help the organization become more connected and more engaged. And so that's how I'm leveraging both sides of my personality, my family life. It all comes naturally through my daily practices. And I integrate that into my life on LinkedIn. And so now things are emerging and pulling me into that direction as a speaker and as a culture and solution builder for organizational culture.
Love it. You're very nicely bringing together both the digital aspect and the human aspect, right?
That's right.
And that's beautifully done. So Sidney, wishing you the very best, and thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Well, I spent the last 30 years, started in full service sales and marketing, and over time drifted more into specifically incentive recognition reward programs. And the reason I like being in that space is and a lot of industry services do have this, but there's an integrity to it that, especially in sales incentives, if we're not moving the needle to move sales, then we don't make money. So there's a mutual cooperation there that we want to make a genuine difference and a benefit to that company to help move the needle. We're in the world of basically rewarding great performance, great behavior, encouraging that, helping people feel valued, et cetera. Where I am right now, where we're creating the edges, Core Incentive has created a model which is really where the industry had to go. For many years, you have these large organizations with a lot of warehouse product, staff and all that, nice marble foyers and beautiful buildings. But technology really don't need all that to do a very good job of running these programs. We have a much more complex, much more robust technology solution that's more of a SaaS approach where there's hundreds of programs running on this common platform that's constantly being updated, constantly being improved. And then on the award side, Tier 1 suppliers globally, you don't need to warehouse goods anymore. You simply don't. There was a benefit in that. You point, you click, you know where that piece of merchandise is shipping from, you can track it, etc. Now Tier 1 suppliers do exactly the same thing. You don't have to own any inventory. So our solution can save 30-40% of total cost, which is the margin that companies used to have to charge on the awards. Now we don't charge any upcharge on the awards at all. We work on a flat fee. Because of this very streamlined model, we can afford to do that and really offer a significantly better value in the marketplace. So we can offer better technology, lower overall cost, and now global solution. We have merchandise delivery in country in 150 countries around the world using this model. So it's a far superior solution. And now it's just a matter of my job is to help get the word out there as far as who we are, what we do, and how we bring a significant benefit. As far as myself personally, being in the reward recognition space, having raised 3 kids and 1 left in college, one thing I have a passion for right now is working on this project on the side, which is we've all had the situation where some poor kid has now graduated college, and they're now walking out on graduation, and they still don't know what they want to do. And it's primarily because we haven't done everything what's out there, just giving them exposure. So the project I'm working on is creating a large database, an online database of 500 to 1,000 interviews with people of we don't need more interviews with Bill Gates and all those folks. We know what they have to say. The rest of us work in the base of the pyramid, right? We want to know what those people, what their real work life is like, what their day-to-day is like, what challenges, what do they love about their job, what they don't like about their job, what do they expect, what they did not expect, and have those interviews be something that a student, before they make their college choice, listen to interviews based on, I like working creatively, I like working with groups, I like working inside, I like working whatever. And here's 6 jobs that correlate with those interests and desires and preferences. And someone says, wow, I never thought about mechanical engineering as a creative job, but it is. You're solving problems. You just happen to be using math and physics.
Spot on.
So the idea is to create this large database, make it free access to the students themselves, give them much more information to make a more educated decision, so they have a little more information about what real people really do in that job day to day. So in a sense, I want to feed our world of employees who are good at what they do, who like what they do, who want to be really, be successful what they're doing because they chose well earlier. So, Sidney, some of the things you're talking about as far as how do we knit things together? Well, it starts with having people who enter the workforce with some idea of why they're there. They figured some of that out. So that's a program I have a lot of passion for. So just trying to get enough momentum behind it to really get that thing launched.
Love that, Tom. And I think this is something which resonates with me so personally. I think more than 70% of people who actually they start working in a completely different field than what they actually studied in college, and that is because they've had preconceived notions that society and people around them have instilled upon them that, okay, you need to do this and do this, but everyone's wired in a different manner. And when they actually end up working in their chosen profession, or rather thrust upon profession, they're like, no, this is actually not for me, right? And there are so many people, and there's so many people, especially who are in university or in college, when they go into the second and the third year, they're like, wow, this is not what I'd bargained for, right? So
I'd like to add just one thing, before I forget my train of thought. I'd also want to make sure that within that context, let me frame it this way. The college sophomore or the high school sophomores and juniors, they go to the auditorium and someone gives them the long speech about how college is where you got to go. Well, the fact of the matter is that person giving that presentation is standing at a podium built by a craftsperson, is put together by craftspeople and iron workers and bricklayers and all that, in a buildings maintained by plumbers and electricians and all that. You can't give that speech saying the only thing important is college degrees without having all these other crafts things that necessary skills. We want to work with their hands. We can't keep treating like working with their hands as the also-rans. Well, you're not good enough for college, maybe you can do that. That's a totally wrong way to think about it. If you want to work with your hands, by God, work with your hands and be a great plumber, be a great electrician, be a great person. Yep. I want a person who wants to do that, and we encourage them to do that. We need the whole array. So that's one of the things they're trying to focus on, is don't treat it like the only path forward is college. It doesn't have to be. And I think that's where you get my son, his roommate in college, went to all 4 years to be a math teacher. Senior year, second semester, finally did his student teaching. He's literally weeks away from graduating. Comes back from that and tells my son, there's no way I'm doing this the rest of my life. This was horrible. Now he's working as a contract plumber with his father, and he loves it. He loves the problem solving. He loves making things happen, and he's happy.